Captain, you have today blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. You then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I don't like that. What to do with the business is, people? It's your boy That Way with Jack Travis. Jack Travis to be precise, man. Now, you know how we do, you know how we doing it. Back in the thing again, you understand me, man? First off, man, let's get this out the way before I go into this episode. Rest in peace. Sends all condolences, all well wishes to the family of the, 67 individuals that died aboard the plane crash the other morning, man. Let's get that out the way. Because we inevitably have to talk about some people that took such a horrific, such a tragic event and politicized. Yeah. So, you know, we've got a couple of videos to get into as always, man. If you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe to the content, give me an algorithm, and we will go accordingly. As I always say, I'm sure you all have seen the plane crash, so, you know, let's look around a little footage and just kind of analyze what we had and what went on, right? Let's check this out.
In a second video, you can see the Army helicopter and American Airlines plane travel toward each other. After the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water.
Alright, so I'm not an air traffic controller guy, so I won't get deep into the math or the science of this thing of how, you know, how flights should be planned out, who has control of what airspace, call signs, this, that, and the third. The only little anecdote that I can maybe add to this little pile is just some interesting life experience. I was actually in the armed forces the morning of 9/11. I'll speak about that later on. But I was set to become a AOT, which is Aviation Operation Technician. So I would be the guy in there watching the radar and things like that. So that's the only little life experience I got with that little walk of life. You dig what I'm saying? But it's wild as hell, man, just to see and just to know that, you know, especially that close to landing, you know what I'm saying? Some tremendous human error had to have occurred. On whatever end, from whatever people. You know, people can make mistakes. Now, this is the big one, so I'm not trying to run any cover for the mistake or what have you, but the bone that I had to pick with the coverage of this thing was, of course, the politicization of the whole thing. You dig what I'm saying? Classic example being this right here.
This is a preventable disaster. The system has been under attack due to DEI and the FAA bowing to wokeness since 2010, since the Obama administration. The lack of staffing is directly attributable to the Obama administration terminating the lists of eligible, well-trained air traffic control statements in 36 universities across the country in 2013 because they were too white. The FAA also, at the same time, implemented an immunity program. So you think you're seeing legitimate statistics, you're not. In the old days, before 2010, the immunity program, if an air traffic controller got two airplanes too close, too many times, they would be decertified and retrained. Now, they're not. All they have to do within 48 hours of being noticed or being investigated for a potential separation error, they're called operational errors in the FAA, the controller just simply has to avail themselves of this program that gives them immunity. And when I say immunity, I mean immunity. The FAA cannot retrain these people. If somebody has a repetitive instance of malfeasance or lack of competency, The FAA, because of this immunity program, cannot rectify the situation. They have to basically allow the person to remain in the same position. It's very, very difficult for the FAA to retrain a controller, and it's attributed to, quite frankly, the union and the FAA working together to basically use this program to gerrymander the statistics.
So, yeah, man, you hear Scott. Scott, man, these Scots, boy, I'm telling you, Scots are some hell of a guys once you see them on television. They're most of the most chuddiest characters. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, again, there's that odd name that you happen to hear every time they open their mouth. Obama. Boy, if it does not tell you something that resides in their mind, buddy, the number of times that they find to blame Obama and go back to Obama and put his name on their lips, bro, is crazy. Pause. You understand what I'm saying? It tells you something, but these days it's cool. You can come on out and say it. Trump is signed plenty of decrees out here. It's pretty much okay. No EEOC, you know, the part. I could go into a list of them. But yeah, you hear Scott. Scott says, now again, I do not profess to be a expert in the field of aviation and their techniques and their procedures that govern their business practices. You understand what I'm saying? But I can almost assure you that coming from Fox News, the most non-fact checking is our viewers should know that we're doing comedy news site ever. They're not going to push back. But I'm almost sure that if you were to read that bill, that there is no point in that bill where it says, hey, we rejected all of these people because they were too white. I don't think that the procedures are changed to the point to where if you were a person, let's think about this. Let's think about this. Now, and let's side note to understand that I don't recall any air disasters within the United States with big commercial planes until the one, you know what I'm saying, the other day. I don't recall one in the years, right? But they say it's been messed up since Obama. Obama was 75 years ago or something, right, at this point. But, okay. You're telling me that with the protocols put in place that you say, that even if a new flyer, damn near wrecked and destroyed and killed everything in its path twice, there was now a program put in place, or not a program put in place that says that you can't retrain that pilot, that you just got to let this pilot go and take a online class. And I'm almost sure that bill doesn't read that way. But you let Scott tell it. That's what Scott says. And it's all DEI policies that Obama put in place. You dig what I'm saying? And yeah, DEI is the problem. I'll get to showing you who all the people they blamed it on as information started coming out. But you know what I'm saying? They were pretty much parroting the outlook, the remarks from Darfur, Trump. You dig what I'm saying? He had a doozy of a press conference himself. Let's check him out.
We don't even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed, and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control and seemingly the member of the U.S. military who was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think were the names of the people. You mean the names of the people that are on the plane? You think that's going to make a difference?
Does it comfort their families?
They
to
are
hear you
a group of
blaming DEI
people that have
policies?
lost their lives.
Let's understand. Miss Lady said that, hey, before we have even learned the names of the victims so that we can send our condolences and things like that, you go into blaming it on DEI and blaming the pilots and all of that. Don't you think that's a little insensitive? Don't you think that's a little jumping the gun? No. Trump said, no, I don't think so. He said, you think knowing the names of the victims that are dead, kids is what we're talking about. Do you think the names will make a difference? This man is a lunatic, bro. Stark raving, man.
If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon. We're in coordination with American Airlines. We're in coordination very strongly, obviously, with the military. but I think that's not a very smart question.
But are you
I'm
blaming-
surprised coming from you.
Are you blaming air traffic?
Please,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for being here. Based on your analysis so far, do you have a sense of who was at fault, if it was the plane, the helicopter, air traffic control, and can you assure people that it is safe to fly in and out of D.C.?
Well, I've given you the analysis, and the analysis was, it was based on vision. You had a lot of people that saw what was happening. You had some people that knew what was happening. There was some warnings, but the warnings were given very, very late. You know, those warnings were given very late. It was almost as they were given. A few seconds later, there was the crash. It should have been brought up earlier. But the people in the helicopter should have seen where they were going. I can't imagine people with 20/20 vision not seeing, you know, what's happening up there. Again, they shouldn't have been at the same height. You're going in reverse directions or sideways directions. Obviously, you want to be at different heights. I see it all the time when I'm flying. You have planes going in the opposite. They're always lower. We're higher, or they're.
I mean, are you paying attention to what's going on with this man right now? I'm saying, are y'all watching this man, bro? What? He see it all the time. The planes is up or higher, lower, down to the side, twist your partner, do-si-do. If something happen, it ain't gonna be too bad. What air disaster have you ever known to be able to say, well, if it happened from this high up, it ain't gonna be so bad? What is, bro? This is not a real place, bro. We might be in a simulation, like dead for real, huh? We might be in the simulation, man. This might be a video game for somebody.
So if somehow there's a screw up, there's not going to be a tragedy. It'll be close, but you know, there's never going to be a tragedy if you're at a different elevation. For whatever reason, they were at the same elevation. And also, from the American Airlines standard, he's along the track that every plane is along. You say, what was a helicopter doing in that track? It's very sad. But visually, somebody should have been able to see and taken that helicopter out of play, and they should have been at a different height.
Thank you, sir. You mentioned the Russians that were on board that plane. What other nationalities were on board that passenger?
There were a couple of others. We're going to be announcing it in about an hour. We have some very specific information. We're calling the countries. We've spoken to most of them, but there were some other countries represented.
Mr. President, have I spoken to President Putin?
I have not, no.
Mr. President, on your executive order.
Not about this.
Question, if I may. On your executive order, you've already issued an executive order. You say will restore aviation safety.
Right.
This crash happened after that. Was the executive order successful, and what more need to change to keep people safe?
Well, you know, we issued it 3 days ago, and we're in the process of making those changes. This is something that should have been done a long time ago. Actually, my original order should have never been changed, and I think maybe you wouldn't have had this problem. Maybe. Yeah, please, go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you. We see like everyday life that very often those diversity hires cause sometimes issues, as you just mentioned. So
Again, this is a simulation. Am I crazy, right? Am I crazy? Or do you not notice the accent from the young man asking this question? This man says, yeah, you know, sometimes the DI hired sometimes cause problems. Or something like that, right? He didn't get out a good crispy sentence. Let's be real, I ain't gonna hold you. He didn't sound to be very well versed in the category of job that he seems to be doing. I'm gonna just be honest from the sentence I just heard, right? And he goes on to ask Donald Trump, or you know, kind of second his emotion that yeah, the DEI hires man lead to problems. What's gonna happen with those people that don't seem to be good at their jobs? That seem to be DEI hires.
what plan do you have? Are we going to see some fire? Are you going to fire some of those diversity hire in the federal government? What's plan do you have?
I would say the answer is yes. If we find that people aren't mentally competent, you see the language. The language is put out by them. And if you see that, I'm not going to bore you by reading it again, but these are not people that should be doing this particular job. They'd be very good for certain jobs, but not people that should be doing this particular job.
Mr. President, you have today blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. You then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
So again, this may be a simulation. Donald Trump says the first thing that came to his mind as to the cause of this horrific accident was DEI. And the man says, how did you arrive at that conclusion, Mr. Trump? Mr. Trump says, because I have common sense. Unfortunately, not many people do.
We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. When you have 60 planes coming in during a short period of time, and they're all coming in different directions, and you're dealing with very high-level computer work and very complex computers. And one of the other things I will tell you is that the systems that were built, I was going to rebuild the entire system, and then we had an election that didn't turn out the way it should have. But they didn't build the systems properly. They spent a lot of money renovating a system, spending much more money than they would have spent if they bought a new system for air traffic controllers, meaning the computerized systems. There are certain companies that do a very good job. They didn't use those companies. They used companies that should not have been doing it. No, I think it's very important to understand that for some jobs, and not only this, but air traffic controllers, they have to be at the highest level of genius. Okay.
I want to ask you about the ice skaters in a moment because the U.S. ice skating community was affected. But first, if I can, the cited FAA text that you read is real, but the implication that this policy is new or that it stems from efforts that began under President Biden or the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is demonstrably false. It's been on the FAA's
Who said
website.
That, you?
No, it's on the website, the FAA's website. It was there in 2013. It was there for the entirety.
What I read.
It was there for the entirety of your administration too. So my question is, why didn't you change the policy during your first administration?
I did change it. I changed the Obama policy, and we had a very good policy. And then Biden came in, and he changed it. And then when I came in 3 days ago, I signed a new order bringing it to the highest level of intelligence.
Now, a little later on in the episode, we're going to get into exactly what his little decree that he signed mean. But do you see how he's squiggling and wiggling away, and he just always, Roy Cohn, tactics, deny, blame someone else. That's all he does, man. Instead of answering for himself, he tries to take credit for changing something, but he doesn't take the blame for not taking any action when he could.
Okay.
It was on the website.
Please. Quiet.
Thank you, Mr.
Welcome
President.
back to the. I'm sorry.
You mentioned that a vision was probably the problem that was at issue in this crash. There's been some reports that one of the pilots in the helicopter may have been using night vision equipment. Was there any
I heard
indication?
that. We don't know. We're going to know that pretty soon. It may change your view plane if you do have the night vision. So it's very possible that could have happened. That would be maybe a reason why you wouldn't actually see as well as on a clear night. You can see sometimes better without it.
Yeah, man, that is the 47th President of the United States. Wow. What can you say, man? I mean, what can you say? It's a hell of a time, but it's gonna. 4 years is a long time, and I don't know what state. I don't know what's gonna be happening in the future, but I feel like it'll be better days at some point. But this man is wild, bro. Of course, DEI and all of that, blaming it on this, blaming it on that. Now, of course, they pull some rabbits out of the hat as to putting some faces to the blame. Completely jumping the gun. That man, if you're on Twitter, it's like a rat race. The minute something happens, man, they typing away, looking around, trying to find anybody that fits their loose description. And they're willing to go and put somebody's face and name on it, in which I think this person here has a lawsuit coming up like a one, 1 million. 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 1 milli Mauricio Garcia that's getting it in right now with InfoWars people and all this, that, and the third, because they're so stupid. They'll latch on to a photo, something unsubstantiated, and run with it. So this is the first person that they focused on as to draw their ire about who caused this accident.
Interesting morning. This is Joe Ellis. I am a Black Hawk pilot with the Virginia Army National Guard. I understand some people have associated me with the crash in DC, and that is false. It is insulting to the families to try to tie this to some sort of political agenda. They don't deserve that. I don't deserve this. And I hope that you all know that I'm alive and well, and this should be sufficient for you all to end all the rumors. I also have a statement. The Department of Defense is responsible for casualty notifications. There were no Virginia National Guard personnel on that Black Hawk that collided with the jetliner Wednesday evening. Thank you.
It's Joe Ellis, a member of the trans community, also an Air Force pilot, what have you. But that's the person that they pulled out of the hat and said, hey, this is why the accident happened. This is who was the pilot of the helicopter. You dig what I'm saying? Just crazy. And again, I think that person has got a very nice lawsuit on their hands. You dig what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody printed a retraction or what have you, but that was the first one. You know what I'm saying? That's the first person they pulled out that. But now I would like to introduce to you who was actually piloting these aircraft. Now, from what I understand, that there was a female pilot of the helicopter, but Mr. Andrew Eves and the other fella there, those were the pilots in the airplane. You know what I'm saying? Along with 67 primarily junior Olympic skaters. You know what I'm saying? Young people, man. Like I said, it's nothing funny about what I'm trying to present right here. When you see Donald Trump and his minions and the way that they treat everything, it's just hilarious, man, because you know they're just such funny and unserious people. So that's where any of the humor in this episode comes from. But that's where we are right now with who currently resides in our top levels of government, man. And
I just want to address the insanity of Donald Trump's tweet and then his press conference today. He tweeted like a fourth grader that was trying to explain something that happened in aviation. He doesn't know what's going on. He should have shut up. If you listen to the audio, the CRJ was coming in on approach. Pat 25, this Army helicopter, they called out to Pat 25, look for the CRJ on approach. That's air traffic control's job. Pat 25 evidently saw the wrong target, this is the theory, and said, I see the traffic. Air traffic control did its job, okay? Job is done, visually separated, calling out traffic. When these two traffic, they're visual, one says he sees them. Unfortunately, obviously what happened was tragic. But for Trump to then go and blame DEI on the air traffic controllers, Biden, and then to say, oh boy, air traffic control could just move the helicopter up or down or blah, blah, blah. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Who have the power of a couple of different entities to get things done, man. That's where we are. These are the people that we're dealing with. So, going forward from there, of course, the normal people, the normal minions, chud, cruds, whatever you want to call it, everybody had their little comments. Elon Musk goes so far as to release this right here. Now, as you can see, he cropped the photo because that was actually a story from 2017. You understand what I'm saying? And here's a look at what Donald Trump signed the other day as it pertains to the FAA. See what I'm saying? And so, Donald Trump is got just as much of this on his hands as he's trying to dish off on other people. And it's just, again, man, it's just an illustration of where we are in the United States and our state of politics right now. I don't really know the solution. There's a lot of hard conversations going on around here, man. There's so many things that I and others like myself can make content about. So many different programs being cut out that affect not just people in a certain color, people in a certain class. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so I don't know how much is gonna go towards getting people on one accord, but I got a feeling that the people that voted for this thing and wanted it in there, I got a feeling that they're FAFOing. And, we're early on in this thing. So, as it starts to affect them personally, and I'm hearing stories about that, just go online and look around, I think people are just going to see that they got a lot more than they bargained for. And, the situation is going to even itself out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was speaking with somebody last night, and even though I have a high level of disdain for a certain type of people out here, man, I like to think that if we're looking at it percentage-wise, I like to think that there are more of them that think with the sound mind, you know what I'm saying, and understand the contributions of different people out here and what they bring to the table, and just what it's going to take to really live a healthy life and a healthy existence here in the United States. Because as far as people of my demographic, it's clear and obvious that we're not going anywhere. There's a certain thing that's going on with the Latino population right now, and people are teasing fears that it may leak over into the black community. And again, I can promise you that won't happen. And I think the people that are implementing certain things right now, I think they're fully aware of that. So again, I would like to think that more of them understand that it can't be done without us. And when they see that the things that is getting implemented, you dig what I'm saying, is impacting them because they're not in a certain tax bracket, then maybe that'll eliminate some of the blinders that's on for what they going for, and seeing that they really are truly voting against their interests. Now, I'm not saying everybody need to jump over to the other side and all of that, but again, man, I think human life, and it's got a way of evening itself out. So karma is a bitch. You dig what I'm saying? And she don't miss. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to see how it pan out. But that's what we at for right now, man. I'm sure it'll be more to come. You dig what I'm saying? We got some really flavorful characters. Or, vanilla, lack of flavor characters. However you want to put it. Wilding out right now. They in their bag, pimp. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more material to bring y'all in the future, man. But until then, this has been That Way with Jack Travis. I'll get to y'all soon. Loud.